Welcome to the Royal Calcutta Turf Club Calcutta Races Spring Meeting, first day Tuesday, 4th February 2025 race preview. The first race of the afternoon is the Everready Ultima Cup for maiden horses 3-year-old only, to be run over a distance of about 1100 meters. We got a couple of runners which have experience. The rest of them are running here from on debut. That's Live It, Love It, Magnifico and Carnation. Kitaro, Simran Star are the two runners which have an experience, that is from race number 81. They went over 1100 meters. Kitaro, who was racing in last spot, was the fag end of the race, made up a placing and eventually finished on 4th. Simran Star, who was racing mostly in 3rd spot as they turned for home, then came up with a run down the center and eventually got into 2nd spot. And Simran Star the mount of Vinay Jaiswal and Kitaro the mount of Imran Chisti. Moving on to the second race of the day, the Sholay Handicap for horses rated 1 to 26, to be ridden by jockeys of Indian nationality, to be run over a distance of about 1400 meters. First up, we're looking at Jolafet, who's had 5 starts in the season. Nothing much to speak about those 5 starts, unpaced in each of his 5 start. Jolafet, first up in race number 3, finished on 6th. Then in race number 12, finished on 7th. Race number 21, finished on 10th. Race number 62 was a little slowly out of the gates, eventually finished on 9th. And the race we're looking at is race number 85, where Jolafet finished on 10th of 11 runners, today ridden by R. Vaibhav. Number 2, Absolute Lightning, who's had a few starts in the season, had a win on the monsoon track on the opening day of the winter season. Since then has had 4 starts and 4 couple of place efforts, 4th place effort. Last start was in race number 72, where Absolute Lightning was on a start to finish mission, but into the last 200 meters dropped back, eventually finished on 4th. Number 3 is Maiden Heaven, who's had a start after having 3 starts in the monsoon season, where in each start he finished on 3rd. In race number 54, the one we are looking at, was over 1200 meters. Maiden Heaven was racing in 9th spot, then came up with a very late run and got into 4th spot, and 4th of 13. The winner here was Impressive Annie. Number 4 is Zambezi. Zambezi came down from southern India, had a mock race. Then in race number 69, Zambezi went over 1400 meters, was in 3rd spot as they entered the home straight, as you can see in the red and blue hoop sleeves. Then eventually dropped back and perhaps needed this run, and eventually finished on 10th of 14 runners. The winner here was Indian Jack. 5 is Royal Rider. Royal Rider has a few starts in this season, 5 starts to be precise, and all unplaced efforts. Last start was in race number 87, where Royal Rider was ridden by Manish and took the turn in 6th spot. Then when asked for an effort, dropped back and eventually finished on 10th of 13 runners, and jockey reported a loss of whip during the race. 6 is Palcha. Palcha has had 6 starts during the season. A better start was in race number 19, where Palcha finished on 3rd, and including this start where Palcha over in race number 80 went over 1200 meters, was in 7th spot, made some late gains on the wide outside under a strong ride from R. Manish, and eventually got into the place money, finished on 3rd of 9 runners. The winner here was Intense Belief. We move on to the third and feature race of the day, the Everready Metropolitan for horses rated 95 and above, to be run over a distance of about 1200 meters. First up, we're looking at a couple of runners. Cool Rider, Black Eagle. Cool Rider, who was the winner in race number 43, beat Black Eagle in that race by almost 3 parts of length. Black Eagle, who had a win in race number 57, and the run we're looking at is from race number 77, where Cool Rider had his jockey racing most of the race with his leg out of the startup, still finished on 4th. Black Eagle, who was racing in 5th spot, then came up and eventually got into 2nd spot behind Miropi, almost 7 lengths behind the winner. Again, we got a couple of runners, King's Retreat and Global Influence. King's Retreat, who has had a few starts and has been knocking on the door. King's Retreat in this race, this was in race number 91, was racing in 3rd spot, then came up and was the best of the rest, because Global Influence, who was racing in 2nd spot, when given the cue, absolutely pulverized the opposition, left them standing about 5.5 lengths clear of 2nd place King's Retreat. Number 5 is Clifford, who's had a couple of starts. Earlier start finished on second to Blackstone. Then in race number 43, finished on fourth to Cool Rider after being in fifth spot for most while. Came up with a late dash and eventually just missed out on the place money by a nose. And Clifford today the mount of RLGH. And finally, we got number 6 is Dubai Princess. Dubai Princess has 4 starts in this season, a second place effort in the 1000 guineas and a winner in the other 3 starts, including this start where she missed the break almost 9 lengths, then came up with a run down the center and absolutely cantered home by about couple of lengths, beating Raffaello in second. Dubai Princess, the mount of K. Nazal today. So that's the lineup for the Eveready Metropolitan. We move on to the 4th race of the day, the Prince Blossom Handicap. This is a no-whip race for horses weight 21 to 46, weight 1 to 26, eligible to be ridden by jockeys of Indian nationality to be run over a distance of about 1200 meters. We had 5 runs which went up against each other. This is from race number 85. We had Fresh Hope, who's leading the pack under the last 150 meters and dropped back, eventually finished on 3rd. Frabia, who was definitely an eye-catcher, was racing in 6th spot, came up with a big run on the outside and eventually got into 2nd spot. We had number 5, King Roger, who was racing in 3rd spot, was racing prominently but then just missed out on the place money, finished on 4th. We had number 8, which is Dancing Queen. Dancing Queen was racing in 10th spot, then made some late gains between runners and eventually finished on 5th. And we finally had number 14, which was UV. UV was racing in 9th spot, made up a placing and eventually finished on 8th. The winner here was Impressive Annie. Number 3 is Jimmy B. Jimmy B has had a start under this new name. That was in race number 95, where Jimmy B was in 7th spot as they entered the home straight. When asked for an effort, doesn't have much to offer, fell back, eventually finished on 8th. The winner here was Sir Baffert. Jimmy B again, the mount of Arman Khan today. Number 4 is Madras Check. Madras Check, who's had a couple of starts after coming down from Western India. In race number 62, finished on 3rd behind Mathangi. In race number 72, was a little slowly out of the gates when was brushed up. Took the turn in 5th spot, eventually finished on 5th in a clustered finish. The winner here was Sensational. Number 6 is By the Book. By the Book has had 3 starts in the season. In race number 3, finished on 7th. Then race number 41, finished on 8th. This start is from race number 94, where By the Book was in 6th spot as they entered the home straight. When asked for an effort, dropped back, eventually finished on 9th of 11 runners. The winner here was Emperor Ashoka. We're looking at race number 98. We had 3 runners: Kindred Spirit, Totally Epic, and Line Up and Collect. Kindred Spirit, who was racing in 8th spot, dropped back a couple of placing and eventually finished on 10th. Number 10 was Totally Epic, who was racing in 5th spot, stayed on in 5th. Line Up and Collect, who took the turn in 6th spot, dropped back, eventually finished on 8th of 12 runners. The winner here was Honey Cake, who made every poster winning one. Couple of runners again. We got 12 Lucretius and 13 Artemis Zelda. This is from race number 87, where Lucretius, who was racing in 4th spot, then came up with a run and got into a battle. Eventually was beaten by the late finishing Memphis by a neck. Lucretius today the mount of Imran Chisti, and Artemis Zelda, who was racing towards the inside until the last 200 meters, was looking like was in contention but then dropped back and it finished on 8th of 13 runners. We move on to the 5th race of the day, the Ocean Way Handicap for horses weight 21 to 46, weight 1 to 26, eligible to be ridden by jockeys of Indian nationality to be run over a distance of about 1600 meters. First, we got number 1, Bundle of Charm, who's had 4 starts in the season. Started the season with a 3rd placed effort in race number 8 behind All-Time Legend, then finished on 8 behind Kasha. In race number 74, finished on 8 again behind Matangi in race number 92, and this start was in race number 95, where Bundle of Charm was racing in 6th spot. When asked for an effort, dropped back a placing and eventually finished on 7th. The winner here was Sir Baffert. Number 2 is Swift Lady. Started the season with a second placed effort that was in race number 8 and behind all-time legend. Since then has had a few starts, all unplaced, including the run we are looking at, which is from race number 98, where Swift Lady was racing in 10th spot. When asked for an effort, made up a placing and eventually beat a couple of horses home, and the winner here was Honey Cake. Number 3, Indian Jack. What a debut this was for Indian Jack, running as a 4-year-old over 1400 meters, was in 6th spot, was bought wide of the track, and when asked for an effort, started to really accelerate. Eventually had 4 lengths to spare over Cristaldo. Indian Jack, again the mount of Imran Chisti. Number 4 is Amalfitana. Amalfitana has had 4 starts in the season, definitely knocking on the door. Race number 22, after being a little slowly out of the gates, finished on 2nd over 1200 meters. Last start was in race number 86, where Amalfitana was racing very prominently under the last 100 meters when Asagiri absolutely flew home, and Amalfitana did the next best thing, finished on 2nd. Number 5 is Banksy. Banksy had a win in race number 48, and this start was in race number 79. That was in 2nd spot until the last 250 meters. Then Banksy was a little flat-footed, eventually finished on 3rd of 5 runners. This was over 2000 meters. The winner here was Good Deeds, who won despite drifting out a straight course. Number 6 is Tender Heart. Tender Heart has had 5 starts in this season. A better start was in race number 8, where Tender Heart finished on 4th. Then 4 unplaced effort, including the run we are looking at, where Tender Heart took the turn in 11th spot, made up a few placing, and eventually finished on 8th of 11 runners. The winner here was Emperor Ashoka. Finally, we got number 7, Monarchy, who's had 6 starts during this season. A better start was in race number 42, where Monarchy was racing in 7th spot, then came out and finished on 3rd. Since then, couple of unplaced effort, including a run in race number 50, where Monarchy was found to be trotting lame after the race. The run we're looking at is from race number 89, where Monarchy was racing prominently, but into the last 200 meters, dropped back, eventually finished on 7th of 10 runners. The winner here was No Worry. We move on to the 6th and last race of the day, the Cupid Handicap, for horses rate 41 to 66, rate 21 to 46, eligible to be run over a distance of about 2000 meters. First up, we got Wonderful. Wonderful has had a few starts. Started the season with a 2nd place effort in race number 11, then a 3rd place effort in race number 18. The run we are looking at is from race number 74, where Wonderful went over 1400 meters, was in 6th spot, then made up a placing and eventually finished on 5th. The winner here was Kasha. Wonderful today, the mount of Arul JH. Number 2 is Felix. Felix has had 3 starts in the season, a couple of 4th place effort, and then in race number 88, Felix was racing in 2nd spot, then came up with a run and finished on 2nd to Lucky 9. This was over 2400 meters. Felix and ridden by Imran Chisti today. Number 3 is Norwegian Wood, signed off the monsoon season with a win in race number 46, then started the season with a win in race number 25. The one we are looking at is from race number 64, where Norwegian Wood took the turn in 4th spot, then came up with a run down the center and eventually finished on 2nd. The winner here was Sativor. Norwegian Wood today the mount of R. Baibab. Number 5 is Sensational. Sensational had a start in the Oaks, where she finished on 8th. A run earlier as part of the season in race number 3, where she was a winner. And again, the run we are looking at in race number 72, where Sensational took the turn in 6th spot, then made a passage towards the inside and eventually had 4 1/4 lengths to spare over the 2nd place horse, which was Snowpiercer. Sensational, again the mount of Suraj Naidu. Number 6 is Voice of a Dream. Voice of a Dream, who came down from southern India, has had a couple of starts, both over 2000 meters. In race number 34, finished on 5th. And race number 55, where Voice of a Dream was a little slowly out of the gates, but was in 6th spot at the end of the home straight. When asked for an effort on the wide outside, eventually made up a placing and finished on 5th of 7 runners. The winner here was Champagne Supernova. So that's the lineup for the day, ladies and gentlemen. See you at the races. Best of luck.